When Erin Langworthy traveled to Zambia for an exciting vacation at 22 years old, she had no idea that she would be leaving the country with severe injuries and a traumatizing set of memories. Welcome to the Crafty Cryptid, a channel dedicated to the dark, the strange, and the mysterious. If you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe and ding the notification bell. I post multiple times a week. Now then, let's get into this week's story. Let's start at the beginning. At 22 years old, Erin Langworthy left Australia for a big adventure after university. She chose Africa, more specifically the region of Zimbabwe and Zambia. She started out traveling alone, but eventually joined a tour group that was going to go bungee jumping over the Zambezi River at Victoria Falls. Visiting Victoria Falls in southern Africa is a dream for many. The waterfalls are massive and beautiful. They thunder over a 111-meter, or 364-foot, gorge. At the bottom of the gorge, the Zambezi River swarms with crocodiles and intense rapids. This didn't frighten Erin. Sure, she was nervous at the prospect of jumping over the edge of the bridge and plummeting into the space below. But the bungee cord was tight, and she had been assured there was no possible way her feet would slip out. The view of the falls was astonishing. Erin, caught up in the moment, spread her arms and toppled forward. The world passed by in a blur of shining blue and green. The adrenaline of a death-defying stunt such as this raced in her veins. In a moment, a jolt snapped through her body. The cord. It should be raising her up by now. But it wasn't. Something had gone terribly wrong. She barely had time to consider what was happening before her body plunged deeply into the Zambezi River. Her entire body ached as if she had just smacked into a concrete slab. Little did she know, Erin had just dropped 40 meters in a free fall after the safety cord that should have kept her from hitting the ground snapped in half. She couldn't hear the screams of terror and panic from above. She was too busy fighting against the river's rapids and being pummeled down deeper by the Victoria Falls. As if the situation could not get any worse, Erin's ankles were still tied together with the bungee cord, limiting her ability to swim. She struggled to get air into her partially collapsed lungs while she dodged sharp rocks and crocodile-infested waters. 30 meters of bungee cable was still attached to her as well, and kept catching on boulders. She was pulled downriver and underwater into whirlpools. The bungee cord got stuck again, forcing Erin's head underwater, but she was a quick thinker. Even as she was running out of air, her vision beginning to fade, she managed to dive down and pull the rope free. After 40 minutes of struggling against the Zambezi River, Erin finally found a way to wedge herself between two rocks at the bank of the river, where rescue could finally assist her. A man from the bungee company was first to arrive. He was able to pull Erin out by her harness, and then gave her his shirt, because her body temperature had dropped so far. Erin put herself into the recovery position, which is a standard position that unconscious but breathing patients are put into to secure them from moving, while also keeping all of their airways open. Immediately, she began to vomit river water and blood. This was what was most concerning. Though Erin was nearly completely black and purple on the outside from her crash landing, she had no idea how bad her injuries could be on the inside. Exhausted and delirious, all she could do was wait while others tried to phone for emergency services. Unfortunately, Erin would have to wait for 5.5 hours on the floor of the jungle, struggling to stay conscious, to keep breathing, and to keep warm before she could be seen by a hospital. The paramedics got lost in the jungle, and because she ended up on the Zimbabwean side of the river without her passport, she was considered an illegal immigrant. When medical staff was finally able to transport Erin to a hospital, she was immediately put on a ventilator and given a hefty dose of antibiotics, as no one quite knew how much of the river she had ingested. X-rays surprisingly showed 0 broken bones, though her lungs had partially collapsed, and that was probably the reason she had been coughing up blood. Since the healthcare facilities in the area were so basic, she ended up getting flown to South Africa for better treatment. According to Erin, who spent 2 weeks in the hospital before she was able to fly back home to Australia, the bungee jumping company was extremely apologetic to her and even visited her in the hospital. They have now installed measures to make sure a snap like the one that Erin experienced never happens to their bungee cords again. Erin is lucky to be alive. Had the river not been so swollen from the previous day's rainstorm, she would have fallen directly into the hard ground and not survived her incident. I cannot imagine what it must have been like to fight for your life for more than a total of 6 hours and still not hold any ill will toward the company that caused your accident. Perhaps luck isn't involved at all. Perhaps Erin has a guardian angel watching over her. I hope you enjoyed this video. To see more content like this, subscribe and ding the notification bell. I post multiple times a week. Leave a thumbs up and a comment for the YouTube algorithm, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and come back soon, Cryptids.